You know, I have actually funded human trafficking. You don't want to be an analyst or associate. You want to actually have a stake in the exit. That's where the money is.
Talk to the communists in the audience right now.
Kill yourself. 100-person floor, all wide open. He jumps up and down like, snitch! Snitch! Tattletale!
Welcome back to Horseshoe Theory, the only podcast with a good return on investment. Today our guest is NetLoss. NetLoss previously had a career as the founder of a private equity firm. Since his retirement, we have kidnapped him and forced him to make YouTube videos in our studio for 80 hours a week. In this episode, we talk about finance capitalism, the ethics of private equity, the death of capitalism, techno-feudalism, and he answers all my stupid questions about what the fuck private equity actually is. You can find his channel linked below. Sit back, count your losses as we bring you NetLoss.
And my penis.
Original penis.
And my penis.
Revolutions.
And
Penis
my
plates.
penis.
It's important to have a
my
cock.
penis.
My penis.
Cock,
My penis
cock,
cock. Oh, and no one really has a penis. And I'm fucking gay.
I'm gay too.
I have a penis. And
I am
swear that
also
I am
gay.
goddamn fucking
I'm gay too.
We're here with Nicholas Ned and Loss Who.
Great guy. Great guy.
Great Georgish YouTube content creator.
Best Georgish content creator on the platform.
George Costanza is my favorite actor.
So you're a Georgist.
Yeah.
What is Georgism?
Well, you know, it's like whenever I meet a guy named George, there's
Yeah.
always good people, right? Like,
Right.
You know, just
You're like what people accuse immigrants of doing, hiring their own, but for Georges.
yeah, exactly. Actually, like I specifically just throw out any resume that doesn't start with a G, just narrow it down.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I'll
that's
review
fair.
the
You
names.
you
further.
do end up throwing out a lot of black names like that, but that's
No,
coincidental.
there's a lot of,
'cause
like,
it's
black
A-
Georges.
Black Georges, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but there's no like Asian Georges.
Yeah.
Who are you?
Joji.
What race?
Yeah, there's-
what race doesn't have any Georges in them?
No Middle Eastern people, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
true. Yeah.
So
Not a lot of Middle Eastern Georges.
yeah, it happens.
I mean, a Georgish could be anti-George as well, like racist, like, you know, that kind
Yeah,
of
like a self-hating George.
Georges.
A self-hating
but
George.
your name is Nick, not George. So you're kind of like you're like Destiny for Jews.
No.
You're like not a Jew, but you're like really, you're going out of your way.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, it's just simple facts. You look, Georges have 2 standard deviations above the average population for IQ. They earn more. They are highly involved in Hollywood and all of our media. It's just, it makes sense. Just it's because they're skilled and good people. So I want to just hire skilled and good people.
That's fair, yeah. I like Philo George.
Philo Georgist.
Yeah, Philo
I'm
Georgist.
Georgophobic.
Georgophobic?
Yeah.
Well, you think it's the nefarious that they run society?
Yeah, I think they're the wrong kind of G name.
What do you prefer?
Greg.
Oh, you're a Greg guy.
Well, I'm more of a Greg fella myself.
Yeah, whatever.
Curious George.
Oh, Curious George, that's a banger George.
Yeah, Curious George is always like, implement a land value tax. That's what a monkey sounds like to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a tree value tax. You know how much trees cost if you like tear one down? It's like a few $100,000 if it's old.
Really?
Yeah, well, think of how long it takes to replace one.
That's true. It does take a while.
Yeah.
I like the idea of like it's like Destiny and Dan, but Dan's like the guy in the yellow suit, and Destiny's the monkey, and he's just really curious. He's always figuring stuff out.
Yeah, that'd be nice. That's a cool alternate timeline.
Yeah, look how happy he is.
They're too old for that.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we live in this one. So we're here with NetLoss.
Mm.
NetLoss, you're a you've been involved with our studio now for what, 7 months?
Yeah, last August.
Last August.
It's
wow.
been that long.
It doesn't feel like that long ago that you joined up with us.
I'm
Yeah.
fucked, dude. That's
And
crazy.
and when you joined with us, you were coming off of your career in private equity,
Mhm.
and you were like, "I'm going to do YouTube now." So, what's your backstory for the audience? How did you get here?
Well, it all started in the summer of 1997 when I was conceived.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, the most popular song that week was "Don't Go Chasing Waterfalls." So, you never go on the whatsongwereyouconceived.com?
No.
Henry, pull that shit up. I want to know what Greg's parents were banging out when they were banging out.
That's a website.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Brogan once told me that if your mom didn't orgasm on the night that she conceived you, you are going to be born with Down syndrome.
No,
If they
that wasn't
do,
it at all.
no, it would seem like it'd be the opposite.
If your mom doesn't orgasm when you were conceived, you don't go to heaven or hell.
Oh,
yeah.
right. Sorry, I
like
forgot.
you're not a person. You're soulless.
I forgot this one. Yeah.
That's what makes an NPC.
That's a lot less ableist than I remember. But yeah, that's good.
Yeah, no, that's why NBCs.
Right. So you're born without a soul.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you just disappear when you die. There's no purgatory.
All right, Craig.
You just
What
go-
day
you
were
just
you
go
born?
away.
May 22nd,
Mm-hmm.
1997. You're not
not-
alone.
that's-
Wow, that really says a lot.
Mbop.
Mbop? What is that?
Do you know Hanson?
No, I don't know any of
Three
these.
beautiful little Aryan brothers.
Can we play it, or we can get copyright claimed?
We can play it just for us.
Okay, that's enough.
And they're Christian as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Perfect for me,
Mm.
a Christian.
A good Catholic. A good
Catholic.
bath.
Are we all Catholics here?
We are all
Catholic
Catholics.
boy.
Oh
here.
yeah. Welcome
Oh,
back to the Elite
finally, dude.
Catholic
We finally have a
Cast.
Catholic.
Yeah,
pod
a full
going.
Catholic
God.
podcast.
Fuck yes.
No Protestants.
You know, I'm kill confirmed Catholic too, Ryan.
kill confirmed.
You never had to,
What's kill confirmed?
you confirmation.
Yes. What does kill mean?
They didn't.
They didn't kill? They didn't make you kill?
Well, now I feel uncomfortable. Never mind. Let's. All right. What was? Anyway, yeah. Sorry. I was born in Nova Scotia. Grew up with Brogan, actually.
It's true.
Yeah, we went to middle school together. I remember in history class, or the morning homecoming. No. The morning homeroom class.
Yeah.
We would just stare at the giant map and just posit about random countries
It's
all
true.
the time. I like-
Map autism.
Yeah. But then, went to university, went to U Ottawa. Same year, same faculty, same program. Probably most of the same classes as Gokinaru, actually.
Huh.
Never saw him once.
that's an interesting little tidbit.
Never
A
saw
lot
him
of
once.
serendipities in the studio.
Yeah.
You know that bit from South Park about how Canada has one road?
Yeah.
You ever seen that?
No.
It's just a bit. There's only one road in Canada, and they walk down the road, and then everyone's like, "Hello, hello." There's 40 people who live in Canada. It's kind of true.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
We went to junior high, and then he also inadvertently met Gokinaru,
Yeah, all
Yeah.
Canadians really do know each other.
and I met you. I was like, I like this guy, and then I just found you.
Our goal as a studio is to hyperstition the idea that all Canadians know each other.
We do all know each other.
Yeah.
Who's left?
I don't know. I know every Canadian at this
Yeah.
point. All the relevant ones.
Yeah.
There's the one road.
I do think there's only 5,000 people on Earth.
This is Canada.
You
We
know.
only have one road.
You ever notice how you always run into the same people and they all have the same stories and
Yeah,
they know each other?
the people whose moms didn't come when they were fucking conceived.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Everyone else is an NPC, but there's only 5,000 people out there, and that's why they all seem to run into each other with these weird serendipities.
It's true.
Just a fact.
It's true.
So
Anyway, yeah, after U Ottawa,
I'm gonna be the linear autism on this one.
Yeah, you need to focus this.
Yeah. So after you were conceived, we really spent a long time on the fact that you were born.
Wait, I forget what song it was. Can we go back to the song, Henry?
No,
No,
keep
you-
going. Keep going. Next step of this linear story we're telling.
Yeah.
you Ottawa.
Yeah, U Ottawa. Honestly, look, U Ottawa is not a fun school in the way that a lot of party schools could be, but you do really just make it how it is, right? There was no block party tradition, so in the fall of 2017, after going to Queens' homecoming, we decided to do that at U Ottawa, and yeah, no, it still goes on to this day now at my old house. We just made fake Facebook accounts, got Budweiser to sponsor it. Now there's 2,000 people every year.
You got Budweiser to sponsor
your
parties?
Yeah. When we started the block party for homecoming, there's Panda Game, which
Henry, pull up Queen's parties.
I like how you started that because the year I went to U Ottawa, it was so bad they flipped a car
yeah.
on the street.
Yeah.
That's crazy that you started that.
Yeah, even better is the next year we'd have the fake Facebook account and we'd fucking go on and just say, oh yeah, just throwing it again. Don't even live on that street anymore. Don't even live at the address. And when the landlord reached out being like, hey, did you guys throw a party? He's like, no, I have no idea what happened. It's just a bunch of people came. The lawn's trashed. We are so sorry. We couldn't control it. The Sandy Hill local people were all in the Facebook group like, oh, these fucking riffraff kids, as if they didn't move into a fucking student neighborhood.
Yeah, I mean, I
genuinely.
For those of you who aren't familiar with Queens in the audience, when you explain what's a typical Queens party like? Because Queens, I remember going to Queens for one of these parties, and I was quite taken aback as a humble Ottawa boy before any cars were getting flipped.
Yeah.
I was pretty surprised, and I would imagine being a guy who just lives in Queens would be pretty crazy if you're in a student.
living on Aberdeen Street.
Yeah, people are just walking into your house during these parties, right? That's what is.
Well, the thing is, it's so weird. When Brogan and I grew up, there was constantly parties where people would go in and trash the place. They'd steal everything. It was bizarre. Meanwhile, U Ottawa, always 200 people in my house the night. Didn't know half of them. Nothing ever bad happened. Nothing.
Yeah.
Genuinely, nothing got stolen, broken, lost. It's so weird.
Okay, so you went to school. You did these parties.
Yeah, did all that.
How'd you get into private equity?
Well, I wanted to be an investment banker, which is like mergers and acquisitions, like Patrick Bateman.
Yes.
But like not because of that. Like it's a fun thing to do. It's an interesting and engaging enough process to kind of work through.
But there's a certain element of Patrick Bateman in there.
I mean, there can be, but
Yeah.
I think people who are like, oh, I want to be this because I saw this movie, like Wolf of Wall Street,
Right.
or shit like that. It's like, no, okay, you're not serious.
Right.
But it's just genuinely a very fun and kind of high stakes thing to do. But it does feel important. But then like I did that at Canada's biggest middle market investment bank for technology companies.
Yeah.
That was in Canada, actually.
Yes, Canada, where I'm from.
Yes, godforsaken place. Jesus Christ.
Which you constantly mispronounce as Canada when it's pronounced Kanata.
What?
Kanata.
It is a godforsaken place.
Yeah.
It's well, I mean, yes. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to argue with that. Yeah, it's pretty godforsaken. But like, I think it's just like, it's a suburb. Most suburbs are pretty godforsaken. There's very few non-godforsaken suburbs.
It's the worst of both worlds if you think about it. Like, you're actually more seen and exposed than in the middle of a city. Like, I could be naked, doesn't matter. I'm one of a million.
True.
But like in the suburbs, like I would be walking around, there'd be people peering through the fucking blinds. I'm like, what are you looking for? This is Canada. Nothing bad happens here.
Yeah.
You people are unhinged.
Yeah. So what the fuck is private equity? What is that?
So
remember when we were in Miami and you were like, who buys these tech startups? And then it was like private equity. And it's like, who's buying the private equity?
So yeah, this is it's one of those things that are self-evident, but it's not self-evident. Like you just say these names, you're like, oh, private equity. I actually have no idea what private equity is.
Yeah, so like public equities, when you invest in like the stock market, public stocks, public companies.
Okay.
But then when there's companies that are not listed publicly for various reasons, those can only be invested in by people who are accredited investors usually. So you got to be making north of like $200K a year, I think, or either that or have a net worth of $2 million, or you have to be friends and family of whoever's doing it. But basically, it's the reason those rules exist is because it is high risk in the way of you don't have all the details. And typically, if you're being offered this, it's because, either you know someone or someone's trying to like grift you, right? Like imagine if some dude came up to you and was like, oh, invest in my company. I got all this shit. Like, right? Like it's there to protect people.
Okay.
But anyway, like it's basically investing in stocks for private companies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. And so, why would a company remain private?
Why would you go public is the better question.
Why do companies go public?
Clout. Also, it's liquidity events. So if you own a bunch of stock, it's hard to sell if it's private because you got to find some other buyer. And there's also a lot of rules. But when you're a public stock, you can just sell that shit. And so like going public, it's very cool. And you're like, wow, I'm such a cool person. I get to press the close button or the ring in the day button at the NASDAQ or whatever. But also it's just, honestly, it's really stupid to go public. I don't get why you do it. There's a lot more regulatory compliance.
Interesting. A
lot of shit you got to do.
Are there like really big companies that are just private that like we don't think about? Because like to my mind, every big company has like look it up on the stock exchange. Like what's a big company that doesn't? It's not public.
These are questions that I'm not good off the dome on. But big.
Because when I think of any company, I think like I can look it up and I can see its stock.
Is
OpenAI still?
Yeah, they're not even a company. They're not even for profit. They're trying to change that. But yeah, that's private. I'm trying to think here though. No, Loblaws is not private. I don't think they're owned through what do you call it? No, ARM I think is private. They're
ARM.
like most mobile processors for like mobile phones and shit.
Okay.
I like the secret companies.
Wait, no, stock price, ARM, NASDAQ.
Oh wait. Oh fuck!
Yeah. This is what I'm saying. Like
Wait,
almost every company.
Okay, Google largest private companies.
Largest private companies.
I'm embarrassed. I don't know some good ones off the top of my head.
Largest private non-governmental companies by revenue.
Yeah. Aramco used to be one.
Vitol.
That's probably a gas company.
Switzerland. Schwartz Group. Aldi. I've never heard of any of these. Oh, Huawei. Huawei's private.
Aldi's grocery store chain.
Oh fuck, Huawei's private.
Huawei.
Jesus. Oh, Aldi, the grocery store is private.
ByteDance is private.
State Farm.
Well, the thing is, a lot of these private companies are still owned indirectly through public companies. Like I know Yahoo used to own Alibaba, right?
Yeah. That's another thing I was thinking. It was like all these guys are owned by other companies.
Oh, fuck. A lot of these private equity and accounting companies are private too, like Deloitte.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so let's say you're a private company, and then you still want investments. So like people like you come, and you are like you're the middleman.
Well, that is one way. Another way is just there's a lot of small businesses out there, and so you can come in and buy them. And then you basically, there's a type of private equity where you basically are a packager. You know, you could buy up a bunch of like, you know, a dozen of one type of company, and then you sell it as a platform to a bigger private equity company, or maybe a public company, doesn't matter. And you just get value through collecting them all into a package.
Okay.
Wait. I'm still lost.
Yeah, are you following?
I'm still lost on where the profit is, right? So like you
Well, the profit, there's two ways to profit from this. Either grow the company or cut expenses. Or, I mean, like, you also, like, the main way they profit's through the exit because there's, you know, multiple expansions, it's called. So let's say you're buying all these companies for 4 times their earnings before income tax, profit, whatever, all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
And then you buy a dozen of them for 4x. And then you package them together. Now, as a platform, you can sell them for like 8x. And so even if you did dick shit, even if you sucked and lost money, you're still just going to win because you are selling it for double what you paid for.
So you're a group of people, a company that buys like 4 companies, combines them into one company.
You don't even have to combine them. You can just sell them as a package. Although some companies that want to buy your platform, they like it if they're integrated into one. Others like them being their own separate entities still. Like, it depends on what buyer you're targeting.
And then you sell it to a larger company.
Yeah.
And then collect the profit.
Yeah.
And then so do only the owners of the private equity group make money, or can I invest in that and then collect the profit as well from you?
Sorry, I was just looking at my camera. What were you saying? Do only the owners in the what?
Do only the owners of the private equity group make money? So like you take 4 companies, you package them, you sell them, and then you guys profit. Can I profit off of your profits by buying into it?
Yeah, if we allow you. And also, the people we're buying, sometimes they have deals structured so that they get a stake in the eventual one. Although you don't want to do that because why would you give away your return, right? You know?
Okay.
But like, there's many ways to profit.
Okay, so let's say I'm trying to get I'm a young buck trying to get into private equity. How does someone get into this field?
Honestly, the easiest way, the search funds. You see, usually they're ran by losers because most of them stay searching. A search fund is like a guy who's like, I want to start a private equity firm where they want to buy a company, right? And so they get paid or they have their own savings and they just go out and try to find companies to buy. Most of them don't work out, but getting an internship there, you won't get paid. But if you do that shit in high school, you're going to at least know the fundamentals of like, you know, what you're trying to do. So trying to do something like that in high school, if you're really trying to go long con it. And then, just try to get investment banking internships. Investment banking is like 80 to 100 hours a week, but that shit will prepare you very well for it. Honestly, though, private equity is like, it's good. You just don't want to be like, you don't want to be an analyst or associate if you can help it. You want to actually have a stake in the exit. That's where the money is.
You hear about all the investment banking juniors who like died?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, like the Goldman Sachs employee, like an analyst. There's like a slide deck that I remember was released around the pandemic where they're like, they just had select quotes like, my manager bullies me. He made fun of me in front of clients. I work 110 hours a week on average. It showed like mental health prior to starting job, and it's like 9.5 out of 10 because all these guys are from Harvard or Yale or shit, right? Mm-hmm. And then it's like mental health quality today, it's like 2.05. And they're like, I genuinely want to kill myself. I don't know why I live. Like, that's just select quotes. Like, they make it as if it's a slide deck for investors, but it's just the most depressing shit ever.
I'd feel like I'd have to go out of my way to try to reduce someone who's a 9 out of 10 on mental health to a 2. Like, that's, you have to like, I have to put effort into that.
110 hours a week. And also, they don't get to work out. They don't get to have fun. Every time they try to schedule anything ever, they're always told, oh, sorry. My manager needs me to work on this fire drill, so sorry, girlfriend, I'm trying to see.
Right.
Like, it isolates you.
Damn. Okay, so how much were you working? How much were you working like a week when you were in private equity?
Well, when it was my own firm, it was like 120.
Jesus.
Okay, that was on the worst weeks. Like, once you're into the thick of things and like you actually have a few companies, you got a process going. Like, it's hard because when you actually own the business, you just want to be always working on it. Because, like, every minute you spend is directly going to you. That's the hard part of being an employee, you know? Yeah. Everything you do doesn't actually accrue, like, the value of your work doesn't accrue to you directly.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it is. I mean, I feel it I'm sure you feel that too. Man. Yeah, I feel like constantly. Like, it's just every hour I'm not working is lost profit, you know?
Yeah, because it is.
Yeah. I mean, it literally is. I was trying to explain this to my girlfriend where it's like every hour I don't work is like a day I'm behind in the future. Like it's a day I lose forever.
Yeah.
It's
no,
not. It's
you
not
guys
like,
fully understand what it feels like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you feel that ever?
No, I think about it in terms of like every day I waste is another day that I'm behind everybody else. And
Because it is.
then I actually just do no work ever. I can't remember the last time I did any work.
When's the last time you dropped?
No, I can't remember. It was like a while ago. Things just kind of work out, you know?
Yeah.
I just don't do any work. This is one thing I noticed about you, Nick. You're like the hardest worker at the studio. You're like pulling all-nighters regularly.
Yeah, I did last night or 2 nights ago.
Yeah, it's and do you think that's just the kind of person you are?
In my 20s, for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
But you do want to eventually
Stop. Yes. Jesus. Yes.
Right. Okay.
No, like that's the thing. It's like when you're young, you got that energy, and also it's like the highest ROI because like it's like investing for 80 years as opposed to 70, right? Like the older you are, the less valuable your marginal minute of work is.
Right.
Even though you get paid more for it technically.
Right. And your end goal is retire to a farm with your kangaroos.
Yeah. You know, I want to have a nice farm with a tree on a hill and a river going through it, and it's in Nova Scotia, of course. God's country.
God's country.
Yeah, so this is one thing that's a little fucked up is you guys are both Nova Scotian.
Goddamn right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have like a disproportionate amount of like Nova Scotians and Ottawans in this studio. It's like all Nova Scotians and Ottawans.
We do.
Ottawans.
God's country.
Is that what you guys call it?
Yes, we're called Ottawans.
You people call yourselves
Yes, we call ourselves Ottawans. Well, it's better than Haligonians. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, I'm not
We're
Haligonian.
not Haligonians.
Yeah, fuck that.
I like black Nova Scotians. It's
Yeah.
like they say I'm Scotian.
yeah.
It's like, I'm Scotian.
Scotians, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's like only black Nova Scotians. Really, if you say like you're Scotian, it's like you're like a white boy. It wouldn't make any sense.
Right.
Like a black Nova Scotian thing.
Right, I like that.
Yeah, I'm fucking Scotian.
And
Wait,
you guys both have the accent going on.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
And
Well, it depends on how much I drink.
yeah, well, I noticed that too. And you commented on one of his videos, brother's accent mogging me, because like it both comes out in different ways. I have no idea how to do it. That's like one accent I have no idea how to do.
take your tongue
Uh-huh.
and park it in the back of your mouth, and then talk through your teeth.
Talk
True. Your teeth.
Your teeth.
And just keep
Talk
your,
through your teeth, eh?
keep your tongue at the roof.
Listen here, bud.
Yeah, keep your tongue at the roof of your mouth the entire time you talk.
Can you guys do the accent for the next 10 minutes?
I don't even know what it means. Actually, I genuinely feel listless, like with my accent. I don't know what my natural voice is anymore.
I can lock into it. I can fucking.
Yeah.
I can really fucking lock into it.
You can fucking lock into it, eh?
Really fucking lock into it.
Listen here, bud. Holy
here.
fucking shit.
Well, it's like
Jesus.
the proper Nova Scotian accent's like a mix of New England. You know, it's not like all like Newfoundlanders have Irish. They're Irish descendant, and it almost sounds like fully like an Irish accent. But Nova Scotia's more closely like Irish mixed with like Boston. That's the proper
but
Nova
like
Scotian accent.
Scottish, but it's like some dude commented on my video actually. Fucking this guy sounds like an Irish dude, a drunk Irish dude trying to put on an American accent. And I'm like,
yeah. If only he knew.
I'm in shambles.
Yeah. The Irish allegations.
Especially Trailer Park Boys. It's really
that was shot in our hometown. You can literally see, like my farm from the background.
You can see my childhood home in an episode of Trailer Park Boys.
Was it Ghost Gum was saying like he had an Irish friend that he brought to Nova Scotia, and he was like, it's like my accent but sped up. That's what he was saying. Like
Newfoundland, I think.
Newfoundland. Oh yeah, interesting.
It's also gross. I was talking to somebody about this. It's a gross accent. It's a very uneducated accent. I think the Newfoundland.
That's why I had to drop it.
Yeah,
people would like comment.
Same. I feel like I've picked it back up, but like the Newfoundlanders, it's almost like a Texas accent versus Alabama.
Yeah.
Right. Texas is like a slow drawl. Alabama is like gross. Newfoundland is like a slow Irish. Like that's a good storyteller. Nova Scotia's like 90 IQ. Like you don't take that guy seriously.
Yeah, like I literally had, like I was told at like jobs out in Ontario, they're like you gotta clean up the way you speak. And so like I actually like fully like discarded it.
Literally discriminated against.
No, but it's like what? Okay, it doesn't matter if it's me. That's Canadians. How people perceive it. So you got to change. It's like don't spend time crying about what's right or not. It's like just figure it out. But now I don't know how I speak naturally anymore because I dropped it so hard and fully. And then once like I became a business owner, I'm like, well, I don't gotta do this anymore, but I'm still doing sales, so you gotta. Yeah. But now it's just like I don't even know how I speak anymore. Like I genuinely don't.
Right. And now it's helpful for you guys because it's marketing. Like you guys having your unique way of speaking.
It's true. It stands out. it is class thing though. I mean, it's like the UK has like a bunch of different accents. London alone has like 4 different accents, right? Like someone speaking like Cockney, it's low class. Like that accent comes from a lower class. Nova Scotia's the same way. So it is totally a class thing.
Yeah, I got a crash course in all the London accents from the London girl I was seeing for like 5 seconds.
That's fun.
Yeah,
there's a lot.
She stabbed you with a butter knife.
And she was like, "Come here, you blimey git."
So you've exited out of private equity.
Yeah.
And now you're a YouTuber.
Yeah. Well, I was having a bit of a crisis in the Sahara Desert, and I got a fever, like the day before my flight out to Libya.
Yeah.
And like, so I'm throwing up on the plane, and then some dude with the Quran read me like a bunch of verses, and I felt okay. And then when I got to the desert in Libya again, I was like throwing up, and so I spent 2 days shivering in bed, and I'm like, you know what? YouTube time. That's me.
Yeah,
and I'm
so
just like, YouTube.
You started that story. I thought it was a bit, but then I remembered you actually went to Libya.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Nick constantly is bringing up anecdotes that like seem like he's having a psychotic break, but they're just actually things that he did.
It's like the time you got chased by Moroccans in Italy. I'm like,
No, I still got the fucking scar on my finger from like, okay, it was like the 3rd day after lockdown ended in Italy, and I'm fucking down in Naples, and they have this godforsaken idea to think, oh, the main train station, if you're coming from the left, it's one name, but if you come from the right, it's the other. Like, what the fuck? What? Anyway, so I fucking go all the way around the bay, and then I'm like, oh my god, the last train to Rome's gone, and because it's 3rd day after lockdown, there's nothing open, so I'm homeless for the night on the streets. And I met some Moroccans at the soccer thing right in the middle of town, or football, and we started bumping, going to house parties and shit. And then at 4 a.m., they're like, hey, let's go buy some stuff. I'm like, okay, yeah, let me hit up the ATM. And as I'm walking down the alley, I'm like, wait, these aren't the Moroccans I started the night with. and then I'm like, well, wait, I got in Italy, they had 2 Heineken, like double-sized Heineken glass bottles. It's like 710 milliliters. And I'm like, well, I got that empty right here. And then I feel one of them root through my backpack, so I turn around, I'm like, hey, smash it on the ground. The only thing is they also had the double-sized Heineken bottles, so they smashed theirs. I'm like, uh-oh. But I also was like planning ahead. I'm like, okay, there's an alleyway on the side. I can see the light. I'm just going to back away to there. And so they're kind of like approaching. I'm like, ah. And then I kind of like back away quicker. So they're like, ah. And they start throwing the bottles at me. And they were all coming at once. So I'm like, okay, one's going to hit me. So I'm like, shh. And then I got covered in blood. And it's 5 a.m. or 6 a.m., the first bullet train to Rome. I get on, didn't pay. But I'm just covered in blood. And someone's like, sir, like in Italian. I'm like, oh, io sono canadese. And they're like, fine. And I stood there, just stood all the way to Rome.
That's
just
awesome.
covered, bleeding out.
Covered in blood on a bullet train.
Yeah, and then I get back to my room, and there's a Roman senator for some reason in my fucking hostel.
It does sound like he's like having a psychotic break.
Yeah,
no, but
he's
it's
a Roman senator, of course.
No, but genuinely, because like, he left his ID out when I'm like, he's like, you good? I'm like, yeah. He's like, no disease? I'm like, no. And he goes to like shower or something. I'm like, I need to shower. I got a fucking flight to Sicily. And like, whatever. And I'm looking at his ID, and there's just a Roman Senate like ID card. Like, I didn't know that was still a thing. Why was he staying in a yellow hostel?
That's fucked up, dude.
Very weird.
Henry's pulling up the AI slop.
What is?
He just looked up blood train, I think.
Yeah,
bloody bullet train.
That's actually me right there.
Yeah.
That's probably how people perceive.
Okay, let me take this back to private equity for a sec.
Oh, yeah.
So, what is the societal utility of private equity? Like what kind of role does it play? Because I feel like I've heard a lot about private equity.
Look, there was a lot of businesses that were really inefficiently ran, and so it was good to have private equity come in, buy them, and then clean up a lot of stuff. And we did that too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you see, there's 2 ways to succeed in private equity besides just getting multiple expansion.
Mm-hmm.
It's, you cut costs or you grow revenue. But the issue is growing revenue is actually hard, and you have to be good at business. And so all the mouth breathers usually look to cut costs.
Mm-hmm.
And we did too. Mostly they would do it by like firing fuck tons of employees and like all that shit. But the thing is, we were long term because we're young. So it's like, fuck it. Like, we're going to be in this for the long haul.
Right.
We don't need to fire people. And so instead, we would go through all of their shit line by line. It's like, hey, you're paying like $100,000 per year for this thing. We don't hear you talk about it, though. Do you use this? And they're like, no, I don't. So we cut that.
Right.
It's like when you buy them off of their business as is. And so then you come in and they're like, wow, they paid so much for this. But then you cut all the fat. And
Interesting. Yeah, it's like the equivalent of like if someone bought me and they looked through all my subscriptions and they're like, "You've been subscribed to like Intuit QuickBooks for 3 years. Do you use that?" I'm like, "No, I hired an accountant."
Yeah, literally that.
It's like that on like a huge scale.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
interesting.
That happened to my mom. My mom worked for somewhere that got bought by private for like 5 years, which they then sold to a different firm. And then when they sold, they just like trimmed off the bottom of all the management positions. They just like cut the bottom of the company off.
Yeah.
Well, that's got fired.
That is the one area that I do find a lot of value in cutting is like the middle managers. You know.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah. Like the actual workers, I don't get why people cut that shit. Like it's genuine. Like I'm convinced most people don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Like at all.
Yeah. Like efficiency via just mass firing is maybe overrated.
Not just overrated, it's self-harm. It's like, do you plan to be here for more than a year? What are you fucking doing?
One thing that you told me, which is interesting, which is like kind of a philosophy on firing, is like this idea of decimating a company by firing the bottom 10% over and over again. You're saying that like kind of creates an atmosphere of like everyone's just freaked out all the time.
Well, it's Jack Welch and GE, General Electric, or whatever, like General, I think. Like he basically was like the GOAT for management. Like MBA programs would all extol the value of Jack Welch management philosophy. But in my mind, he's one of the worst managers ever because he ruined General Electric. He ruined every company he touched because, when you fire the bottom 10%, the first year is great. Like, bottom 10% of guys should be fired. And genuinely, all the good workers hate them because it's like, why is this fucking here? Right?
You're talking of management, right?
Yeah.
Bottom 10% of management.
No, not management. Actual workers.
Okay.
And then the thing is, on year 2, you fire the next 10%. And, you've hired some since then. So it's like, okay, we're still trimming fat. Year 3 happens, and you're like, okay, I mean, I guess there was improvements, but, like, that felt marginal. And then year 4 hits, and you're like, oh, my God, am I next? Like, who's safe? Like, how do you even judge it at that point? Like, we're just firing good people. Yeah, it's like that decimation. Literally the Roman military decimation thing. But, like, just...
What is going on here? They
when you lose a battle, they punish them by decimation, where you pick 10 people, and it's like, okay, amongst every group of 10, you got to pick someone to kill.
And they beat you to death with sticks?
I guess sticks. I don't know.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah, basically, picture that as a management philosophy. But you also just do it every year for no reason. Like, again, it's good to do every once in a while. But, like, doing it every year, it's just, eventually you're like, wow, there's no loyalty, it's purely transactional. And you can't trust people to judge you. That's another thing. That's why I'd never want to be an employee. Because you just, like, my first sales job out here in Toronto, I was doing a business development for some tech company. And I was the number 1 sales guy. The number 2, though, one day the manager for us just woke up and decided, fuck this guy. And she started going, like, whenever he wasn't in the, like, call or whatever, she'd shit talk him. And then she started aggroing him in the morning meetings. And eventually they just axed him. He was the number 2 sales guy. And I'm just sitting here like, that was completely pointless. That was objectively a stupid move. You can't trust anyone. You can't trust people to be logical.
Right.
You know?
Interesting.
It just...
If I'm drawing the short straw in like a Roman army situation and like I got to get beaten to death by sticks, as soon as I draw the short straw, I'm like sprinting full speed.
Yeah, like that's another thing too. It's like, why are people so resigned?
I'm getting out of there. Yeah, that makes sense.
What do you think about people? Because this so much about, I don't know if I'm just retarded, but so much about like finance, capitalism, and private equity, I just can't wrap my head around. So like someone starts a company, and I feel like this is a common philosophy you've come across in your life. People who start companies and their sole goal is to sell in like 8 years. Like that's their dream. They get out of school, they're gonna start a company, they're gonna sell in 8 years and retire.
That is actually it's private equity. It's 7 years. 7 years is the typical target.
7 years. Okay. So and then they sell the company to private equity, and then they profit, and then private equity eventually sells that company to what? Where does that company go now? Does it just stay in the private equity portfolio?
Yeah, well, it stays in it as long as the fund exists, right?
Okay.
And so it could be sold again. It could go public. It just something will happen where a liquidity event will happen, and then that's when the private equity gets their money back.
But it stops being independent at that point, right? Like the company doesn't.
Well, the moment you have outside investors that can have a say in the business, you're not independent.
But you become like a subsidiary, right?
Like a subsidiary could be, like I don't know. It's just like if you have any sort of external obligations, you're not fully independent. Like if you have a bank loan, they're going to force you to have what do you call it? Got them for covenants. So like, for example, we had to comply with things like oh, you can't drop below this margin, or else then we have to review it. Oh, you got to meet these minimum, what do you call it, free cash flow amounts, or else we need to review it.
Yeah.
Shit like that.
Okay.
If you have big outlays of more than like $100,000, you have to talk to us first. You know, it's just like, it's so stupid.
Okay, well, what about like BlackRock or Vanguard
Those
or State Street, where it's like
Blackstone is a private equity company.
Blackstone.
Jane Street is a trading kind of company. They don't really, I don't think they own shit.
State
Oh,
Street.
BlackRock and what?
State Street.
Is that like a
Wasn't that a big one? State Street?
Jane Street.
Jane Street.
But like they're more of like a quant funds. Like they trade. It's like a hedge fund.
Okay, so then
Blackstone is private equity. BlackRock and Vanguard are asset management companies. They make ETFs. They don't really own shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
But then you're eventually sold. Like, does the company just move up the ladder of funds?
It could.
It could.
Yeah. It could also just cease to exist. Like there was one guy I keep running into was one of the very first companies I touched as an investment banking analyst intern in Canada, where his company was bought by Google as like a talent acquisition. So they don't buy the company for any real reason except just to own the employees.
Interesting.
Google and all the big tech companies were one of the main contributors to, you know, the whole Silicon Valley tech scene. Because if your company fucks up or goes nowhere, they'll just buy you out. Like, you're fine. You know? And part of the issue with Lena Khan and all the regulators coming in and, you know, getting mad at big tech for that shit, that actually was really healthy for the ecosystem in a way, because it meant that you could take risk and not have as much downside potentially.
There she is, Lena Khan.
Yeah, I have a good video on her coming out soon.
So, I don't know what I'm getting at. Is there like this system we've created seems like there's
a bigger fool. It's like a bag. Who's holding the bag type thing? Is that what you're wondering?
There's a final idiot, or there's a point where some person, like one group, just owns everything.
Yeah, yes and no. I mean, like, there's no final idiot, because the companies at the end of the day are productive assets. They produce value, and you're not going to buy something if it isn't worth what you're paying for.
Yeah.
Now, you see, you'd be in a situation where you buy a company, and then a few years later you sell it for less than what you bought it for because it was a bad investment.
Yeah.
That happens. But, you know, like, stuff goes back and forth. There is limits to how big you could be in one sector before the government will get mad at you, as it should. But, yeah, I mean, like, overall, like, it's just...
the private equity system isn't going to result in a concentration of power. Because
it's just like with any business system. Like, I don't think private equity is specifically instrumental in that happening.
Okay.
Like, and also we have laws to kind of prevent that too, right? Like, if they were enforced.
Well, yeah, we should. We
Yeah.
do
Yeah,
on paper.
Well, I mean, there is one type of company that we don't have rules for yet, and that's the aggregators, you know? Like Amazon or Google.
Okay.
Like all these, it's not even platforms, like specifically aggregators. Those, like, were equivalent to like the 1880s pre-Sherman Act. Because like the antitrust laws don't make sense. Like, what are you going to do? Break up Google search into multiple Google searches? Like, that's stupid.
Yeah.
You know? But like, there is ways to regulate them. It's just, it's not through antitrust. There is ways to force them. And I think we also have to remember, at the end of the day, when a company has a big stranglehold, we're not stuck with them. They're really stuck with us, if you think about it, you know?
Yeah. No, I
stuck with us.
Yeah.
Like, boycott always seems like the strongest way to...
Not even boycott. It's just like, you can kind of rough them around, like at the grocery stores, for example. You could totally have your way with them, because, like, what are you going to do? Go elsewhere? No, you're not. Like, you can't. There's customers to be sold to in Canada for groceries, and we could just decide, groceries, get fucked. Same with power utilities. Like, Emera, or whatever the fuck, bought Nova Scotia Power, and they are a dog shit company. But at the end of the day, power is going to flow no matter what, right? Emera owns it all. But really, we could just tell them what to do. And if they don't like it, we'll just take it and continue doing it. You know?
Right. Okay.
It just doesn't matter.
Interesting.
If only we had balls.
Interesting.
God, I hate Emera.
So, you're a capitalist.
Very.
What is this? What is capitalism, Nick? What does that mean?
It's
not that. It's communism.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's our vape.
It's our vape.
Yeah.
So, like, okay, you like when things...
I like markets.
Okay, and you like when things are producing value, right?
Yes.
Right. So that's because that's... You're blowing up right now. You just got your first 100, then 1,000 subscribers over the last week.
Yeah,
and that's because your two most recent videos about rent-seeking behavior. And you're sort of like, you make a capitalist case against landlords. That's why we called you a Georgist originally, because like this idea of like land value tax. So like, what is your philosophy on? Because like we associate being anti-rent or like with like socialism or whatever, but you're actually making the argument that it's just like, it's not a productive, like you're not being generative, you're not producing value by doing rent-seeking behavior.
Yeah.
So like, what is your philosophy around that? Like how does that make sense in a capitalist context? Like how do you make your capitalist case for being
Well, look,
anti-rent
the
seeking?
Founder of capitalism, Adam Smith, right? Like he was the first
the guy
dude.
who invented it.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, but like the guy who
capitalism
really,
inventor.
yeah. Before that, we were all just like bartering with like fucking sticks and stones or some shit, broken bones. But fucking Adam Smith, from day one, they're like, yo, rent-seeking behavior is stupid. Like the classic example is the dude who takes a chain and puts it over a river. It's like, you got to pay me money.
Right,
now.
right, yeah.
You know, it's like nothing happens here. If anything, it's inefficient because anything that has to go through that river now has to be increased in price. And the more you increase the price, the less demand there is because, you know, there's a certain value to it, right?
Yeah.
And so overall, like now people are doing less. And so therefore there's less work. And when there's less work, now people have less money.
The
It's
example,
like this doom loop.
the example you give is a guy builds a toll bridge, like a bridge, and you have to pay a toll to like go across the bridge, and then that.
No. If you build the bridge, that's fine because
Right.
now it's like, okay, well, you didn't ruin something. You didn't detract.
Right.
If you want to build a bridge and then charge a toll, it's like, well, this didn't change how shit was before the bridge was built.
Right.
You know?
But like just creating a toll system for an existing bridge.
Yeah, that's just stupid. Why would you do that?
So, but people do like the example you give is like in the tech world, right? Like you give examples of rent-seeking behavior for specifically like big tech companies. What's an example of that?
Yeah, so like algorithmic rent. I found a good paper on it actually.
Yeah.
But like Amazon, for example, like when you Google does this too, but whenever you have like a product, like let's say I have like XYZ razor company, and let's say I start doing well. Well, now other razor companies are going to start paying so that when people search specifically for XYZ razor company, they're going to come up first.
Right.
And that's just stupid because if I'm searching for some specific product, like if I want an Anker charger or power bank, I don't want some fucking Hushangwei Chinese company that's a knockoff to like random no-name thing to come up first. I'm searching for Anker because I want Anker as a brand name.
Right.
Anker's a good Chinese company. I think they're Chinese. But like that's part of the issue, right? It's like you're paying money to artificially redistribute, you know, outcomes.
Right. So if you
nothing of value happens.
like we're looking at power bank right now, and if you go scroll up, Henry, to the top, you'll see like there's like sale. This Amazon link comes up first, but this is a zero sum market. Like you either see that first, and there's a certain number of people who want to buy this power bank.
Whoa, what's that? What's that C300 there? Click that.
You're good.
No, I use a power bank when I go to the factory.
Ooh, 24.
Wait, 288 watt hours in that thing. How big is it? Dimensions. Holy
Wow.
shit! This could be it. Look how. Oh, wait. How big is that?
Wow, that thing's fucking crazy, dude.
No. How dimensions? Like how big physically?
12 by 12 by 20.
Oh, we got distracted by tech autism here.
Yeah, sorry, I really like technology.
But yeah, so like
Jesus.
Google ads are a good example of
Yeah,
rent-seeking behavior.
Yeah.
Basically, and
Yeah.
like in the big tech platform, and you're not actually like when they're bidding against each other. So to be the first thing that
the
you
end
see.
result is that nothing changes for the consumer. If anything, it's worse because now you got to fucking do extra work just to find what you're looking for. But now everyone else has to essentially play this game or else lose. And so everyone has to add this into the cost of their products. So now everything just costs more. We buy less. The only winner is Amazon.
Right. But
just
isn't that capitalism? Isn't that how capitalism works?
No.
No. So why isn't that capitalism?
Because you're basically appealing to a higher power to distort the market in a not efficient way.
Is that corporatism? Like, what would you call that?
Well, I mean, like
how-
this is more of like an aggregator issue.
Okay.
But like just in general though, corporatism, like take for example our housing shit, right? Like we're currently socializing the risk, like the potential downside.
Yeah.
But
In Canada,
we're privatizing the profits, which is just the worst of both systems.
Right. That sounds like the more libertarian critique of the way things are right now, in the sense it's not capitalism, it's corporatism. That's like the that's the
but I also
libertarian.
I'm allergic to that because it sounds like the whole true communism's never been tried.
Yeah.
You know, and so I don't want to be like that guy. But like genuinely though, it's just so fucking annoying.
Yeah.
So what do you think about like Like, does rent seeking and aggregate capitalism fit into like the Milton Friedman model of capitalism?
Well, actually, Milton Friedman was another huge anti-rent-seeking behavior dude. You know, like he really does not like the concept because again, it's inefficient. It's not like that's the thing too. Like capitalism is really just the best way we have so far to efficiently allocate and command resources, right? And like markets and things like that.
Right.
And so when you have an inefficient market or system in place, that's bad. And so anyone who's a capitalist would not like that. Now, look, anyone who's like identifying as a capitalist can go suck a dick because like they're fucking idiots. Anyone who identifies as anything is stupid.
You're anti-ideology.
I really am. It's like being a cuck. It's like, oh yeah, no, this other guy's ideas. Yeah, that's what I really like. You know,
it is pretty gay.
No, anytime someone's like, I'm XYZ to me, like I see you as an NPC. It's like if you die, I don't know if I'd feel the same way I would if
right when you come up to Nick and say you're a libertarian. You think your mom didn't orgasm when she
exactly
conceived you.
That's exactly what I'm thinking.
Yeah. So, because my heuristic is like capital seeks the most profit for the least work.
Yeah. Well, technically, profit is an inefficiency.
Profit's an inefficiency.
Technically, a truly efficient market would have zero profit.
Interesting. Yeah, that makes sense.
Which is why it's stupid to be purely ideological.
Yeah.
Right.
So how do you eliminate something or mitigate something like rent-seeking behavior?
This is where the invisible hand of the market needs to come in and slap shit. You know, or that's where we need to come in and slap shit, right?
Yeah.
Like for example, with the housing issue, like it's extremely bad because it's literally sucking up money that could go to anything else in the economy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what the government should do is just come in and build a bunch of housing. I mean, if they weren't, ruined by the gerontocracy, and if our elderly people were like anyone in the past who would do the right thing and sacrifice for the future,
right?
Like I don't know. I'm very
anti-elderly.
Oops.
Extremely.
Rat bastard.
I am actually.
Thank you.
I am an advocate for geronticide.
Geronticide?
Yes. Anyone over 65, like back in the day, it's like, oh, we're going through slim times. I'm just gonna die on this mountaintop now for the future.
Thank you, Henry.
Whatever happened to that? But
back when we believed in God.
Yeah, essentially.
We did things like that, and now we don't.
Yeah.
We cared about the future. How have boomers ruined society, Nick?
Well, it's not even that they ruined society. It's just more so that they're very selfish in one way about it. Like, they voted throughout their lives to lower things like the reason we have a healthcare shortage is because they voted to lower costs at the time. And now that they're the ones receiving all of it, now they're like, oh, no, we need to boost things. It's like now we're going to pay a bunch of money just so that they can suck up more resources on the way out.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I'm just I wish people got the outcomes they deserved.
Huh.
So if I eliminate rent seeking, like this is my only issue is like how do you
eliminate rent seeking?
How do you eliminate rent seeking? But how do you keep? Because I'm pro market when you talk about like the best possible way to create value and to create future technologies
to allocate value too.
Yes, it's markets.
Yeah,
right. It has to be markets, and I think I agree with the.
I mean, if there's a better system, it would have to be that. It doesn't have to be markets.
What was it? Who is this quote from? Is it Milton Friedman that talks about like, if you get two flower shops, in like let's say the town of 10,000 people, there's two flower shops. One's on the east side of the town, one's on the west side of the town. There's no way a single person could manage both of those assets and know fully the extent of both those markets. The only person who can understand the market of like each flower shop is the owner, right? Where it's like it's so complicated to possibly understand with the perspective of like.
Yeah, that is the big issue of having like a command economy and very like concentrated power.
Yeah,
and that's another reason why like technically from like in my mind from a capitalist perspective, you should not want inequality. Not just because rich people tend to not spend money and it ruins the economy, but also just because the more actors there are out there, the better and more efficient the system is. And I mean, Christ, even trying to manage anything, like the more components there is, the harder shit is to get done.
Yeah. No, I mean, exactly. That's what like Burnham said about the rise of managerialism, is that if it's going to get so complicated, you need middle managers too.
Yeah, there is a reason for middle managers. I'm very anti-middle manager, but they do serve a purpose.
I can understand. Not all of them. Maybe like
most of them,
20% of them serve a purpose.
Yeah.
So, eliminate rent-seeking behavior. Keep capitalism. Keep markets.
Yeah.
Would it be like a tax? Or like regulate, like is there a way to do it without regulation?
Well, a lot of rent-seeking behavior is from regulation and political, interference to begin with. Like take for example all the tech companies advocating for privacy laws and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Now I know this is a bizarre argument. I should make a video about this, but whenever OpenAI is like, no, we need to control AI. The reason why is because they're the big guy, and whenever regulation comes in and clamps down shit, it basically calcifies whatever the current power structure is. And so that's why you don't really see new Twitters and Facebooks popping up as much, because there's so many different compliance things from things like the EU regulations that it's just not economically feasible to do that anymore. The Wild West days are over. And so like whenever you see companies advocating for regulation, it's usually not good,
Right. Like the company is advocating obviously for regulation because it'll
cement their current status.
It benefits them. Is that why you saw Amazon advocating heavily for like a minimum wage increase? Because
it prevents other companies from being able to compete with them because Amazon can stomach it.
Okay, interesting. I'm gonna pee.
I wish I knew what the right answer was, man.
That's the issue.
But are things like, do you see from your perspective things getting
better?
No, worse.
Worse?
Yeah.
In what way?
Are we gonna like, I don't know, like unaffordability?
Yeah, I do see it getting worse.
You see it getting worse?
Yeah.
Not in regards to the tariffs, but just in general. Like if you took before the tariffs, right? Just the way things have been going for like 5 years, and just like let that process continue.
Way worse. Yeah,
way worse.
It's just been sliding downhill, and it's because like part of the issue is I feel like we're losing trust and belief in our systems. Like, to what extent do people still believe that hard work gets you ahead? Or what is it more so like, oh, how can I cheat my way there? How can I pull one over? What can I grift or like scam the system? How do I get ahead? Like, people don't believe that getting ahead through the normal aspirational methods is real anymore. And to a certain extent, it's not. But
yeah,
the more we devolve to that thinking, the worse everything will be.
Like, what is value creation though? Right? I'm trying to think, like, if I take two extreme examples here of like a guy who's
leaving the world a better place than you found it.
So like that's what I mean, like a firefighter, right?
Yeah.
Or something like a doctor,
yeah.
like a very like pro-social job, versus somebody who like starts drop shipping, uses that money to buy like rental properties, and then uses that to like leverage more rental properties.
If you'd actually materially change the world, that's good. Like if you're building shit, if you're creating things, whether it's a service or a goods, like if you actually are producing something, that's good.
Yeah.
If you just step in and take over something, that's not good.
Yeah.
Or if you can at least change things for the better in a productive way, that can still be good. I don't know. It's just there's a lot of shit that's just paper money at this point and paper gains.
Give me a hot take then that nobody wants to hear.
In what way?
Something that a very hard pill to swallow that would increase things, whether it's some sort of regulation you want to see in place, or some sort of tax increase, or deregulation, just something.
I do think that we need to, I think the most impactful regulation we could do is start forcing banks to make business loans specifically, and not business loans for buying things, but business loans for creating things.
Mm-hmm.
Because currently the banks are so allergic to any loan that's not backed up by a physical, tangible asset,
mm-hmm.
or already has a proven track record. Because why would you be? It's just it's dumb free money to go elsewhere and write loans elsewhere. We need to make minimum ratios of business loans to other loans. And then on top of that, I do think as well, non-productive assets, whether that be gold, crypto, housing, all those things, they're just a malignant cancer on our society. And we need to start taxing more heavily things like that. So like disincentivize it, because you should be focused on creating value, not just riding value, know?
Like taxing rental profit.
Yeah, essentially. Like honestly, it's a stupid way to have an economy. Like I don't know, I don't want to get polemic here, but it's just
get polemic. Get polemic. Talk to the communists in the audience right now.
Kill yourself. No, sorry. What? No, but genuinely though, I really fuck, man, I don't.
Are things so complicated that we have to wait for it to burn down?
That's what I really worry about, to be honest. I do, and even with Trump, like it seems like people are finally realizing, oh man, this guy wasn't our guy, right?
Yeah.
But what's the next answer? Because no one's been their guy forever, and now that they got their hopes up, and it's just smacked in their face that, oh, he was never your guy. Like, at what point are they like, okay, we're just gonna start shooting or something? Like, I am worried about that. Like, I don't know. It feels like shit's not getting better, and it's because we have way too many old people, and they have way too much of a stranglehold on how everything's ran, and they're going to continue to milk us as long as they can, and as long as we allow it. But at the end of the day, young people or middle-aged people, anyone who's actually got a future still, beyond just, settling into your grave, they live off our allowance, essentially.
Yeah.
And if we honestly cared about our future and children, we would make a tough choice today. And, if that choice isn't made by us, I do hope it's made against us when we are that age. I do believe that would be right.
I think people should vote in their best interest. And if you're a boomer, you should be, it makes sense. It
makes sense to milk society on the way out.
Of course.
That is how things will happen. And like incentives structure everything. We deserve the outcomes we're getting. We deserve
let everybody do what's in their best interest, then make rules around it so that it doesn't become degenerate. Makes sense.
Yeah, but are we making rules? Are we enforcing rules?
But that's our job now.
Is it?
Make some rules.
Well, that's the thing, though. I don't think people have belief in rules anymore. I think people are increasingly looking for a blank slate, and I don't think that's going to end well.
So crypto is a non-productive asset, right?
Jesus, no. No productive thing. Well, it serves a purpose, like you can buy things that, the government might frown upon. Like
child porn. That's what I use my Monero for.
I use Monero, but not for that.
Hitman?
No.
Drugs. Oh, yeah.
No.
Right, yeah, the drugs.
No.
I forgot about the drugs.
No. Human trafficking.
Human trafficking, right, right.
Yes. I have actually funded human trafficking.
We're gonna link it.
I wrote a check.
We're gonna move on, or we're gonna let that one linger.
I could explain it. I was working in a Nepean actually at the time.
He's gonna go into it. Okay.
Go into it.
Okay. So I was working in Nepean, right by the airport in Ottawa. Godforsaken town too. Jesus Christ.
Godforsaken.
Kill yourself if you're from there. It was awful. Like awful. And so anyway, I was working there out of a company. I was doing buy-side mergers and acquisitions. And so we're looking at this company down in Florida. It was from Clearwater, if that sets off any alarm bells. And it wasn't my deal. It was my friend who was working behind me. He just got off his MBA program. And he was going through. He's like, yeah, we're all wrapping up due diligence. Things are going well. And I'm just doing the legal stuff now. Everything looks good. I'm like, oh, did you fact check anything, essentially? He's like, what? I'm like, well, they're not going to necessarily be honest about legal issues. Like, you can request, oh, has your company been involved in any lawsuits? But, like, you should still Google it, at least, to verify it. And so we Googled the company, immediately lawsuit in Florida. I'm like, uh-oh. And so I open it up, and we're reading. And it's like, so this was an employee that was suing the CEO and the company. And when she was getting hired, the CEO was interviewing her and said, well, you see, girls suck at sales jobs. So you're probably not going to get hired here. Why would you even interview her? And then he hires her. Like, if you believe that, why would you hire her? But anyway, she gets in.
Was she hot?
I don't know. I didn't see her, but I saw what she wrote. You see, on day one, she goes in, and the CEO brings her into his office. And he's like, all right. He pulls a whip out of his desk, whips it at her. He's like, you like that, don't you?
Oh, I see.
And I'm just sitting here like, he's not sticking around, right? They're like, no, he's gone. Like, okay, phew. And we keep reading on. And it's like, eventually, like, all the sexual harassment and stuff, I forget the few more specifics, but eventually she goes to HR, and he's like, look, I know he's the CEO, but, like, you guys see what's going on here. Can you please move me? Because her desk was right next to his office in a giant open plan floor. And they're like, okay, you're going to get a new department, new job, no pay deduction or anything, and you're across the office now on the other side of the giant open room. She's like, great. And then he finds out, because he's a CEO, he's like, why'd you move my girl? And so he goes to her desk on the opposite side of the room. It's a 100-person floor, all wide open. He jumps up and down like, snitch, tattletale. And I'm like, how old's this guy? 50. And then eventually, fucking her pay gets docked in half. And she goes to HR, and she's like, what the fuck? You said nothing. And they're like, yeah, no, you're right. That was an error. Unfortunately, though, we're in a wage freeze, so we can't fix it. But there is one way you could fix this. She's like, okay, how? well, you got to go to these management meetings. It's during your lunch every Tuesday and Thursday. Okay. What's it on? Scientology.
Huh.
And I'm like, what? And so we Googled the guy's name, and there's a going clear list. And it's just a list of all the Scientology people by rank. So the number 1 guy is Ron L. Hubbard. He's dead now.
Yeah.
Number 2 rank, it was like Ron L. Hubbard's wife, Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise's missing wife, who definitely isn't dead or trafficked or whatever. Don't know what happened to her. And then Tom Cruise's new wife. Rank 3 is like a few other people. Rank 4 is this guy. And I'm like, holy shit, he's like the 4th highest rank.
Wow.
There's like 10 people on that rank. Oh my God. I'm freaking out here. And I'm like, wait. Okay. So if he's gone, who's taking over here? And they're like, oh, this couple. And so we Googled them. And then they're 5th highest rank in Scientology. I'm like, oh my God. And then I'm like, wait, Clearwater, Florida. It's a Scientology town. Like, literally, it's the number 1 Scientology town on Earth. Like, it's all over half Scientologists. And I'm like, holy shit. It turns out the whole company was Scientologists.
Wow.
And so when we bought them for a few $1 million, we wrote out the check to the Church of Scientology. Not to him. That's the thing. And, like, we saw him go do crazy things. Like, it'd be like, oh, he just offered 90% off on this product randomly halfway through the month. We're like, oh, you must have a drug addiction or something. Not our problem. This guy's gone. But no, it was because the church would be like, oh, we want like $100,000 for whatever reason. He's like, okay. And then, yeah.
Interesting.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But the thing is, the Church of Scientology does allow human trafficking. So when I wrote that check to them, I was essentially funding it indirectly.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the best ending to that story.
I am going to hell.
Yeah, I was wondering how the punchline of him funding human trafficking would resolve.
That's probably the only way.
Yeah,
that could have ended.
That ended
acceptable.
Positively, where we don't like end this kind of uncomfortably. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's also that 12-year-old I bought on.
All right, that's enough. That's enough out of you.
Oh man,
that's fucking wild. Chester Bennington. You know, I just found it totally off topic.
Yeah.
RFK's wife killed herself because she found a diary where he details every time he's cheated on her.
Oh man, why would? That's so sad. Why do people cheat?
That's why she killed herself.
That's why she killed herself. She left it in a suicide note and gave it to her friend and was like, "When I die, publish this." And it was like literally just like him ranking his mistresses. There was 37 of them.
37.
Yeah,
Wow.
37 mistresses.
How do you find the time for that shit?
Hung herself in 2017.
I feel like I'd go out in a funny, whimsical way if I were to like off myself.
43 mistresses. You try to make it funny? Try to make it enjoyable?
Yeah, like I'd self-immolate on Parliament Hill or something.
Why haven't you killed yourself yet?
Better alternatives.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like there's a lot of fun things to do and experience in life, and I got a lot of life left to live. You know, if I didn't have things that I've done though, I definitely would have. Are you Googling self-immolation?
That's a lot of filtered. It's a lot of hidden.
That's good.
Not safe for work images.
Not safe for work.
It is kind of fun, yeah. Like, if I was a different person, I would have killed myself.
Oh yeah. Well, like the thing is, if I didn't have my business started, like 2 months before the Ukraine war started, I was like just getting that idea off the ground, and so by the time it happened, I was like, holy shit! In a different world, I would have been a drone guy because like I had a DJI Mavic.
Right.
Like I was pretty fun and good at it, and I was not enjoying my job at the time. Hence why I failed to start a private equity firm.
Yeah.
But like, if that wasn't going on, I definitely would have,
gone to Ukraine and flying drones.
Yeah, but that's the thing. During the first year, or like at least like 6 months of a war before the trenches or shit go down, it's kind of like a whimsical to a certain extent. You know, like it's a little bit of anarchy. You make your own war. You just drive around. You know, I was imagining me playing cat and mouse with artillery, where I'm like on the drone, and then artillery guys are trying to zero in on me.
That's a crazy. It was either private equity or militia soldier for Ukraine.
Yeah,
for Ukraine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course. Do you think I'm fucking Jesus?
I don't know. I just wanted to double check there.
God, I do resent how fucking much people buy into propaganda these days. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's retarded, dude.
Jesus.
That whole fucking congressional address last night was painful. You know, it was the longest address to Congress in like modern U.S. history.
Why?
2 hours straight. I don't know. He spends an hour and a half. Did you watch the whole thing?
No, but I just heard you. I was playing Minecraft, and you were in. Oh,
that's sweet.
Yeah, I was playing.
We got a studio Minecraft server set up recently.
That you can't join.
No.
It's for us only.
But yeah, I could hear you. The weird part is with my headphones on, it actually sounded like you were retardedly drunk because it sounded like. But whenever I took my headphones off, you were just talking normally. I don't know. It's very hard to describe.
Yeah, I was angry. I mean, he spends an hour and a half just doing like there's like literally the last hour and a half is like, in the audience we have little Binky Joe.
Yeah.
Binky Joe was raped and maimed, and then to combat that, we named the prison after her of the rapist. And then we have little Punky too. Like,
Well, no, at one point I heard
for
you
an hour
like
straight.
laughing at some dude, and then you're like, wait. He's not mentally challenged, right? And you got really quiet and
Yeah,
sad.
because this is fucking DJ Jones. He's like,
Who?
he's 15, and he wants to be a cop, and then it cuts to him in the audience, and he looks like he's 6, and his dad picks him up.
Wait, what?
And I'm like, why are you picking up your 15-year-old son? But it's because he had brain cancer and he was like stunted. He's gonna
and then he
die.
wants to be a cop.
He's gonna die of brain. He's dying of brain cancer actively.
And so they made him a cop.
No, they made him a cop, and then Trump made him a member of the Secret Service during the congressional
what?
hearing. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, he's like, and as a surprise for him tonight, we have the new chief of Secret Service who's gonna Yeah.
That's
What?
nice.
What do you mean you're making
That's a nice thing to do
No.
for the
No, it
guy
doesn't make
dying of brain
sense.
cancer.
I mean,
DEI on the Secret Service?
It is DEI.
Yeah,
literal
for sure.
DEI in
It's
the Secret
literally
Service.
it's literally like woke. You know, I'm trying to help out a disabled
he's
person
black too.
and a black disabled guy.
Yeah. There's also a woman named January Littlejohn.
January Littlejohn.
That really stuck with me.
And Columbo Jones,
Fucking-
Jazzy Peters.
Wait, what months are names for? It's always women, but like, do we always go with September?
I don't know if we went to school in September.
I think we did.
We went to school in Asia.
What?
Yeah.
That's embarrassing. You can't be doing that.
There's DJ.
Wait,
Little DJ.
whoa.
So you were thinking about being a YouTuber? Was that before you? That was before you met us.
Yeah, well, it was always my because I had I was literally e-scootering during the winter to work. I was eating chickpeas, lentils, and beans diets just because it was cheapest. Like I always live in that rough, deprived lifestyle, right? For a reason. But because of that, it's like got no money. But like, how do I have like a creative outlet? So I'm like, oh, well, if I was a YouTuber, I'd write about this. Or like whenever I'm just bored and think of an idea, it's like, oh, let me just write about this. You know?
Yeah, that makes sense. And then
eventually, like I always knew I could do it, but I'm just like, I got better opportunities, and I can't risk it on a YouTube thing.
yeah,
You know?
Yeah.
And also, I figured by the time I'd exit, I'd be too old.
right.
You can be a YouTuber at any age now. Look at like Legal Eagle.
Nah, guy's washed.
He's what?
Yeah, too old.
I think he's like as famous as he's ever been right now.
Boomer.
I think he's like
Boomer.
I think he gets like 3 million views every.
Now the lockpicking lawyer, that's a cool guy.
Oh, sorry, not the Legal Eagle, the lockpicking lawyer.
Yeah.
The lockpicking lawyer.
Hell yeah. You ever see him break into his girlfriend's house? That's pretty cool.
No, I did not. His like ex-girlfriend.
Yeah. Well, no, I think it was
Getting in my
actually-
ex-girlfriend's back door.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Wait, I didn't know this actually. I was just saying shit.
Fuck, man. Elon Musk should be jailed though. I want to see Elon Musk in jail.
Well, I don't know why people don't like
You-
physically. You could totally murder with your bare hands Elon and Trump like very easily.
Yeah, you could. Not that you should.
If
but you
you've learned
could do it.
anything from the last decade,
Anything's
it should be that anyone who should go to jail will actually be appointed to the most powerful positions in the world.
I don't know, man. My money's on Tim Walz running in 2028.
No,
Tim
that
Walz?
Guy's,
Tim
soy.
Walz. Running-
Tim Walz is going to run in
He's gonna
2028.
run 20. He said he is. He said he's gonna run 2028.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, he actually hit a whole like base press. He had a whole based interview like 2 days ago where he's like,
Another boomer.
everyone in the parties, everyone in the Democratic Party is wrong.
Oh,
About what?
About like how to
Everything.
handle MAGA. He's like, they don't know what they're talking about. They're all wrong.
How are they wrong?
no.
Because
Actually,
they're like they started appealing to like the Trump talking points. Where they're like, oh, we did go too far on this stuff, and it's like that's obvious.
Right.
He's like, we have to go farther the other way. He's like, I want like he's like, if I was elected, day one would be universal health care. Like he's going like full socialist.
people
like,
want
anti-MAGA.
change. People want change, right? It's
Yeah.
less like that's why I don't really believe when people are like, oh man, Gen Z is so like whatever, radical in this or that, whatever side. It's like, no, we're just desperate for change. It's like whichever way the wind blows
Yeah.
to look furthest to that. You know?
Yeah, I mean, no shit. Like we
Yeah.
need a.
We
If the status quo is failing, then you can't be surprised if someone goes for like an anti-status quo candidate in the wrong direction, like
Yeah.
the direction you don't like.
Yeah. Oh, we fucking fuck it, man. Socialized healthcare in the U.S.
I don't think I've ever seen a flattering photo of that dude.
No, he looks fucked. I hate him.
Every time. No, I'm really liking what he's doing though.
He should be
'cause it's
hung
not
too.
my country.
You don't. Why?
Don't fuck Javier Milei. Hang him. Fuck him.
No, I like the idea.
He's democratically elected.
They rug pulled his audience. Fuck him.
Yeah, but he's
Bad guy. I
democratic.
don't know, the new regime should just hang him.
They voted for a rug pull.
Yeah.
They want it.
They
like
deserve
it.
Everyone gets the government they deserve. I do believe that.
Yeah, Trump coin.
Yeah, they all get the government they deserve.
The strategic Solana reserve, so he can bail out his friends invested in meme coins.
If that
taxpayer
happens,
monies.
that's actually like a black pilling moment for like the U.S. in my mind. From my perspective on the U.S. Like that's true.
That's true, black pill.
Like, oh my God, there's no way they're not going to do that.
I agree with you, Nick. I think we're like 4 years away from just people starting to shoot.
Yeah. Well, I'm shocked it's not happening sooner. And that's the thing too. It's like the longer we push off this and kind of let things continue, the worse it will be. You know,
because
everyone just thinks, oh, I won't be here by the time it gets bad.
No, we're all going to be here by the time it gets bad. Nothing's getting better.
No.
And policy's not going to make it better. Regulations aren't going to make it better. I think people are just going to start shooting.
Yeah.
In like 4 years.
Well, that's the thing. It's like if there's no hope or change, it's like fuck it. Why not? What incentive is there to not?
5 years of shooting, 1,000 years of peace. That's the future I see.
Well, we only have 5 years, regardless.
1,000-year government?
They're gonna start. Wes, we have like 3 to 4 targets we can kill before they start cracking down to the point where you don't have the opportunity to kill them anymore. Whether that's
but like to do that
metal
would
skulls,
be to ruin their. It would be to ruin their life. Like it's the same way as why you don't really want to self-maximize at the expense of society. It's like, yeah, if you want that, you want to live in Venezuela, you want to live in South Africa type shit, where it's like, yeah, you're doing well, but you just can't go outside without guards. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
That's not a life to live. And so, yeah, they could stop that, but like, do you want to? You know, it's like, would they rather just change shit for the better than give up all of their freedom, essentially, in the hope of continuing their way? You know.
Prison for Musk.
No.
Prison for Musk. I'm calling it prison for Musk.
No, you see, if Trudeau had some real balls, I do like what he's been doing lately, but he should just start by posting. You know the founder of Reddit, right? Fucking grab my balls, man. What the hell? What's the dude who offed himself? What was it? Alex?
Aaron Schwartz?
Yeah, the Schwartz guy.
Yeah,
that guy. You see, he actually was so close to just dropping open source every piece of scientific literature ever, because they're all behind paywalls. So you see, if Trudeau was smart, he would say, okay, you know, I see no one's doing anything. No one cares. You're fucking us. So, okay, first, open source all that shit. I'm going to do way worse than that, because we have all the 5 Eyes shit. Like, just every hour that Trump's not dead, I want him dead on TV type shit.
Yeah, specific.
But it's like, no. Like, I want him and Musk dead on TV, or else, like, everything's over.
This is
I'd
your
vote for you.
suggestion to Trudeau.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd vote for a guy that's like, this is my plan. I'm going to threaten Trump by leaking all the 5 Eye documents.
Yeah, and also you have dead man switches, so that way they can't stop you. And it's like, you better hope I don't have a heart attack, because if that happens, you know, it's coming out anyway.
Right. It's not just like Trump reverse tariffs, Trump resign. It's like,
no,
I
it's
want
like
him dead.
No, it's not even just dead. It's like, I
killed.
want him dead on TV in a provable way.
My subreddit got in trouble yesterday because one of the posts on my subreddit went to RL, and it was a guy saying they wanted Donald Trump dead.
Okay.
And it got reposted. I saw it on my Twitter timeline of like a right-wing Reddit aggregator reposting it, being like, wow, Reddit's gone crazy. And we actually did, my subreddit got in trouble for it. Like, it nearly got banned because there's been, like an uptick of, sorry, this is all the top post.
Just right, eco-globalism.
If you can go to like the regular
Are you
Twitter
logged
view.
in? You gotta log in to find the regular timeline.
If you just look up Jreg on, that'll work.
Look at what Dreg's been doing.
Just right, eco-globalism.
I call him Jreg.
Sicilian Jreg. I want Donald Trump Jreg. Nearly 2,000 upvotes, and the mods haven't stepped in.
Wow, you posted that too. Your profile pic's right there. That's crazy.
No.
Reddit lies.
Wow.
That's my subreddit.
The mods haven't stepped in. Where's the stalker when you need her?
Yeah.
Reddit lies. Yeah, dude. I don't know.
I just swear to God.
I think we're closer than 4 years from shooting. I think we're like actually like 6 months away from shooting.
I think we're 6 minutes away.
I think we're 6 months past shooting because it's already happened.
Fuck. Forgot to water the plants.
Yeah, that plant is dying.
Yeah.
You're watering it with Prime?
Yeah, it's got electrolytes.
That's
the plants crave.
That's what plants crave. Did you hear that? That's what plants crave.
This is an idiocracy scene.
Yeah. You know how much potassium's in this? Speaking of which, this podcast today is sponsored by Prime. Logan Paul's Fluids.
Paul Fluids.
Yes.
He jacks off every morning into each individual thing
Yeah.
of prime.
And then I feed some me and my plants.
Logan Paul's been horny maxing. Actually, he's been
Has-
taking a lot of zinc.
Yeah.
You have an insane amount of zinc in all of your videos.
Yeah.
What's that about? Why do you have so much zinc?
I'm just flexing on all the Americans. You know, they get 80% of their zinc from here.
Oh, really?
You imagine a world without zinc?
Well, they're about to experiencing it after the
You
trade
wouldn't
war
think,
comes in.
but a world without
So,
zinc.
yesterday or 2 days ago, the tariffs from America became official. You have a video about tariffs.
Yeah.
What's your prediction for how that's going to affect us all? Is it over? Should we just?
They laxed the auto tariffs on some cars
Wait, what?
until April 2nd.
Wait, what?
They limited some of the auto tariffs in the U.S. on some cars that have to comply with something.
Now look, okay, like this. It's gonna be like Great Depression levels. Unironically, it's gonna be fucking bad, man.
So
Like really bad.
like as bad as Great Depression,
potentially worse.
potentially worse than the Great
Yeah,
Depression.
depending on
Was
how
that-
long it happens for. Because a lot of the jobs that are impacted by it are typically higher paying ones. Like the whole auto industry is just done. Like anything that has to cross the border, especially more than once, like it's just that's not feasible anymore.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
So
I read 6 months for 25% unemployment.
yeah. Well,
So-
I don't know about specifically that, but like that is the long term outlook. Yeah.
So let's say Canada, the economy continues to decline. We're already not in a great place. Keeps getting worse and worse. Where does this end for us as a nation?
Well, ideally, we could invite Trump and Vance and Elon to a Canada annexation talk, and then we bring him up in the Peace Tower, and then we kill him in the Peace Tower.
This is a fantasy of yours. You want Trump and Elon dead in the Peace Tower?
Yeah, violence in the Peace Tower.
You want Trudeau to kill them with their bare hands?
He could do it, man.
In
He's
the
a
Peace
fighter.
Tower.
He could. Okay,
It's
Trump.
such an ironic place to do this, in the Peace Tower.
Yeah, no, but even better, you lock the door and you force them to jump, and then just be like, I don't know, they just killed themselves. It's very strange.
Right.
But like, no, like actually though, like the end goal here, like the thing is, like Canada and the U.S. need to be buddy because we share the continent. It just makes sense for us to be together. But we do need to get rid of them being the only potential market. Like our oil, for example, we sell it to them for like 90 cents on the dollar, and it's because they're the only ones who can bring it in, because that's where all our pipes go. We don't have pipes to the oceans or anywhere else, and we allow people to, block that and protest it. And again, the longer this happens, the worse things will be. I don't know. I do think that the more we push off shit, the more we need an authoritarian kind of, just thing to happen for a bit, which is not good because I hate that. But I don't know. How else do you fix shit?
What would an authoritarian thing be like that would help us? Like what
It's
what
the
could we
same
even
as
do?
like the housing. It's like, okay, you have some NIMBYs here. I'll just suck my dick.
I
Oh,
see.
you want to protest this? Die. Like, we just need to build
We
shit.
gotta
We need to build shit.
a little Chinese.
Yeah,
'Cause,
no,
like-
that would be a great con, actually. Pretend we're getting in the Belt and Road Initiative. Get them to build all their a railroad again.
Well,
And then when they ask for the money, be like, oh, did we do another?
We just repeat like 19.
That's what I'm saying,
Chinese prison camp, Chinese labor camps in
Yeah.
Vancouver.
Yeah, no, but like, just it's like, oh, you built another railway. Thanks. Just railway too.
I mean, that's one of the potential. I'm making a Canada-America future compass, all the different possibilities emerging from that. And one is that we close in ties with China, actually, because they are our number two.
And yeah, well, the thing is, like, if we could threaten and use, in the same way that Egypt used Russia to get better shit from the U.S., and then the U.S. to get better shit from Russia, we could do the same, potentially, to a certain extent. You see, at the end of the day, the U.S. can own us if they ever want to, which is why we need nukes. But
Just one.
no, we need multiple. Also, we need a system so that at a moment's notice we could just pollute the Great Lakes forever. No, but that would be the ultimate like
Scorched
strategic-
earth,
Yeah, essentially, because like,
scorched water.
that's the big thing that could truly pull us into the U.S. in the long run is the big water issue. Now, you
Yes.
see, luckily, water is so like the quantities you need to supply make it infeasible to pipeline. Thankfully, so they can't really steal our water
So-
and export it.
Does Canada have nukes? We don't have any nukes.
No,
right?
we
No,
don't.
but
nukes.
we're one of the closest nuclear nations in the sense that in a few months we could be there.
We have the
But-
most uranium in
Oh,
the
yeah.
world.
Right, but we also are like
No, but we
In
have
the UN.
everything there to make them very quickly.
because we're part of NATO. If we get attacked, can we just get nukes from like other countries to
Yeah, sure, but it's like, what can you want to rely on other people?
Yeah.
Look at how great that's happening right now.
Yeah.
And, the whole world's really coming together to save Canada from the U.S. right now.
Yeah, it's probably not going to happen.
Or look at Ukraine. Ukraine had all these guarantees, Wow. A lot of good those did.
But they weren't part of NATO.
No, but the U.S. guaranteed them in exchange for giving up their nukes. Like, hey, don't worry, like we'll protect you.
Oh,
I honestly think Canada should not just build nukes, but we should also announce our nukes. No, not just use them, or not use them, but like we should announce. Oh yeah, we have nukes. Also, we've armed Taiwan and Ukraine with nukes too.
I see.
That would be truly goated. I do believe in nuclear proliferation. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm past the point of solutions. I'm with Nick.
Yeah, I'm ready.
I'm sick of pretending. I saw like Ben Shapiro retweeted something about the congressional thing.
Soy Shapiro.
I know, Soy Shapiro. He's just going through. He's like, this bombshell. This was great. Let's go through the best moments. I'm like, you're such a fucking bitch.
Streaming's made you mad. Streaming's made you angrier and more violent.
They're bad people.
Oh, yeah.
I'm so sick of pretending like I have to take these people seriously.
No.
Or like I'm so sick of pretending that we all have to get on common ground and discuss things dialectically. Some people are fucking retards. Fuck them.
Yeah.
Write them off. They're written off. Ben Shapiro is a write-off. Matt Walsh is a write-off. Elon Musk is a write-off. They believe in nothing. They have no morals.
I agree with what?
Yeah, I know you agree with that.
Everything we just said.
I mean, I'm pro-violence. I mean, I'm
right.
if someone's getting shot, I'm here for it.
I'm just angry.
I've been pro-violence since the beginning.
I get so polemic when I think about these things. Like genuinely, like I was fucking like doing my video, and then like Tony came and was like, "Oh, did you hear about this?" And then the whole Ukraine like skerfuffle at the fucking White House there with Trump. And I'm just like, I derailed my day. I'm like, I just got behind on a day now because every time I look and think about this, I'm just like, murder, suicide. Constantly.
So, okay.
Just awful.
Back to this linear narrative that we were trying to go down.
Sorry.
So you wanted to be a YouTuber, and then at some point you came to one of our live shows or something?
No. Like, when I was in the desert and realized I'm going to do this, I was like, yeah, Brogan, actually. Brogan, I knew that he was in Toronto because I used to have this weird cyclical vomiting thing, or it was like cyclical vomiting. Like, one day I threw up out the window, and then someone said, "Ah!" and it was Brogan. It landed on him.
What?
No. Whenever I would get cyclically sick, like I would just throw up for like a week straight, and I would
back to the Libya stock photo.
Anyway, so I fucking I whenever that would happen, I'd be like a haze, and 3 times in a row, thrice I would find Brogan's channel and be like, holy fuck, it's Brogan. I'm pretty sure it's Brogan. But then I'd forget about it because I would continue being sick and throwing up.
Yeah.
And then like the 3rd time it happened, like, wait, no. Save this, like remember this. And then I saw on Instagram, he's like, oh, he's in Toronto. I'm like, oh, I'll just reach out to him. So I messaged him and we met up. And so I was aware that he was a YouTuber in my city. Yeah. And I'm like, I don't know about his old CCC or U thing, if it's full, taking members. So my backup plan that was also very cool was I was going to buy one of those $10,000 Chinese EV trucks in Europe and just put around abandoned buildings there doing what I'm doing. But I'm like, but if they have a spot in Toronto, I'm already here. It would be nice to have a community. Community's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, yo. And then I came to your live show. I asked, hey, could I like store my lighting equipment? Because the abandoned factory I shoot at is like a few kilometers from here.
Yeah.
And yeah, it just blossomed from there.
And yes, you film most of your videos. Go to NetLoss. You film your videos in this abandoned factory. How did you find this factory?
Well, I'm a big purveyor of the abandoned buildings everywhere. I love abandoned buildings. And like even in high school, we just drive for 500 kilometers in a day because gas was 80 cents a liter. Very good. And then we would just like, we'd see an abandoned house and go up to it and just check it out. And so I've always like done that whenever I'm anywhere. Like in Italy, I was always exploring them during the pandemic. And I knew there was this cool factory that I found February of last year.
This is so fucked up.
Yeah. I love those.
Yeah, go on.
And so like, it's very sketchy to get in, but also that's like, it's a very cool location.
Yes.
So yeah, I just decided, fuck it, I'm going in there. And right there. Yeah. That's it. This was last August, actually.
And you like bringing people to this factory. You brought Turkey Tom there.
Yes.
And you tortured him, I heard.
Yeah, well, I found out the ghost that was haunting it is the Gooner ghost. Because there was stuck to the wall with some sort of fluid was a 1980s Gooner magazine. And then when you call the number, actually, they're still active. It's like 1-800-444-SUCK. And then when you call it, they're like, welcome to 1-800-444-SUCK.
That's true. That's exactly what it says when you call it, actually.
Hey, do you want to call it right now? No.
Welcome to 1-800-444-SUCK. For all gladly get down on their knees and satisfy your every need. You name your pleasure, baby, and we'll.
Okay, that's enough of that. It's going to charge you by the minute. But yeah, no, we just found that in an abandoned in the factory there. And we just, yeah, it was just stuck to the wall. And also, Hitler's now there jerking off.
Yeah, it's like a mural of Hitler jerking off naked.
Yeah, I think Rory Paints is there. That's actually who's haunting the factory this whole time.
Yes, Rory Paints.
Yeah, look, can you look at Hitler jacking off?
Oh.
Images.
1936 Olympics.
Images.
I can't believe he got gold in gooning. It's pretty
Why
crazy.
is it coming with a Salvador Dali?
Yeah,
Hitler.
what?
Oh, he has a painting called Hitler Masturbating.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, 1973. Hitler Masturbating by Salvador Dali.
Well,
that's
speaking
fun.
of all that, I need to use the wash. I shall return.
Okay. So Nick is pouring vape juice into his crack pipe currently.
Well, I mean, like, when you hog the vape, I got to do a manual. Fucking 1950.
He's like, oh, geez, now I have to do this pre-planned bit where I pour the vape juice into the crack pipe. I have no choice but to do this awesome thing that I was thinking of doing, to use the crack pipe.
Oh, no, it's I don't know.
I've
What our grandfathers.
an analog vape.
Yeah, I'm doing fucking analog vape.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see the
Wait, why am I
analog vape
calling
and
for
wrap
it?
this
No.
and wrap this up.
Come on.
There you go. You know, I did this out of a popper bong one time and threw up.
Really?
Yeah. That's epic, dude.
Okay, so for our audio listeners, he is currently burning the crack pipe with a lighter. It's becoming darkened and blackened, and the vape juice is heating up.
I feel like you gotta suck it while you light it. That you have to flood it with oxygen. Yeah.
We're doing something that humans have, I think, rarely done. I don't know how many times this has happened in like the history of
I'm telling you,
mankind.
you gotta suck it while you.
Oh, you're right. Oh. Oh my god, he was right.
You
Jesus.
gotta, wait, what's the? You gotta suck it.
You have to suck it while it's hot. Vaporize it.
Whew. Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Crack pipe vape.
Yeah, I prefer the digital method.
There we go. Horseshoe theory. We threatened the death of politicians.
Wait, we can't be done now.
We smoked crack.
What else did
I
you
said
want to?
slurs.
What else did you want to talk about?
Well, I don't know. How long have we been doing this for? I feel like we can go further.
Hour and a half.
Hour and a half.
Yeah.
Do you have another topic?
Well, I really want to talk about the whole risk aversion that everyone has.
To what?
Everything.
Oh, general risk aversion. Well,
Yes.
we're Canadian.
Yeah, even worse.
That's in our psyche.
Yeah, and it's cancer.
Okay.
Genuinely. Like, I find everyone is just so afraid of risk these days. And they're so afraid to do anything. Like, you see it in dating. You see it in the lack of people taking big moves in their careers or starting businesses. Like, everything in life. And we purposely bubble wrap everything, too. It's like, you're not allowed to do these things anymore. It's annoying. It's like we let all of the fucking... It's like we let all of the people with the biggest neuroses command how the rest of us can act, and we're all slowly losing our will to live. That's why no one has kids anymore. Like, it's just
Risk aversion.
not even risk aversion; it's the consequences of it. You know, it's why I would never live in a suburb.
So Brogan has a viral short going around right now where he talks about how it's impossible to have children. Is this just risk aversion?
Yeah, I think it's a consequence of it easily. Because, like, if you think about it, right, like, you're not allowed to do anything, and so, like captive animals, we no longer have any desires, right? You know, we just sit around and mope around all day. It's why the pandas don't fuck.
It's true.
We're like
Yeah.
pandas.
Basically, we're becoming it because we're allowing people to say you're not allowed to do anything except exist. Guy becoming a panda. Oh, there you go. That's it. That's literally me. He's literally.
I like when the when the screen becomes Henry trying to entertain himself after an hour and a half of listening to us yap.
No, but what is? Oh my god.
Okay, so what's the solution to risk aversion?
We need to stop allowing people to tell us we can't do things. No more seatbelts, no more helmets.
Now he's getting libertarian on us.
No, but like genuinely though, like with the whole helmet thing. Oh god, I'm gonna die in an e-scooter accident now after saying this. I've jinxed myself. But I don't know. Like I think the reason why a lot of people don't, wear helmet, like a lot of people don't bike because it's like, oh, well, I don't want to wear a helmet. And you see in the Netherlands, no one wears a helmet.
Mm-hmm.
They're fine, and everyone bikes, and you don't really hear people getting head injuries. But like a helmet would not protect you from getting hit by a car, and yet we must wear helmets these days because the government says so, and so no one wants to bike because now it's going to fuck up your hair. It's it's just annoying to have to carry around. Like everything we do adds friction that prevents people from doing better things with their lives.
I agree.
It's like good's the enemy of perfect.
No, I totally agree, man. I totally agree. I think there's this, where society went wrong is we characterize death as the ultimate form of suffering, which it's not.
Yeah.
And I think that's the hallmark of a weak society.
Yes.
When people talk about like people who are like anti-alcohol,
yeah,
and they're like, oh, like I remember I went to a doctor one time, and she's like, "Do you drink?" I'm like, "Yeah, I drink like once or twice a week." And she's like, "Don't you know how much cancer? Did you see the studies? It causes cancer." I'm like, "No, really?
Wow.
Drinking's bad for you?"
Who could have thought?
I know the amount of people who are like switching to fucking no alcohol for like
this
health
guy.
reasons.
I'm happy he's doing what he's doing because I just want to know if there's some things we could be improving on. But I would kill myself if I had to live his life.
Yeah, no,
Jesus
as you
Christ.
should.
Yeah,
it's antisocial. This
Yes.
this death aversion is antisocial.
yeah. Well, it's just it inhibits anyone from doing anything at all.
Yeah.
Like for my e-scooter even, like technically it's de jure legal, but it's de facto illegal because to be able to ride an e-scooter, you cannot be on the sidewalk, which you don't want to be anyway because it's a fucking bumpy mess and there's people. But to be on the road, you can't be in bike lanes either, which is absurd. So you got to be on the road. But then to be on the road, you must have insurance. But to get insurance, if you call up any insurance company, they'll be like, "Oh yeah, we'll insure you for loss and theft." It's like, what about actual insurance that allows me to drive? No. So even though technically it's legal, it's not. But because now I am outside the law by definition of existing on an e-scooter, I stop questioning a lot of things. I stop abiding by a lot of rules. Like, for example, when you're at a four-way intersection and there's that left turn signal, right? Now, you see, if I want to go diagonal, there's this weird thing where like the cars will kind of go left on either side, but in the middle between those two flows of traffic, there's like this slot that you can go through.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, it's highly illegal, but like it's extremely efficient. And so I'm just doing shit like that. Oh, it's a red, but no one's there. I'm jumping it. And like it just slowly leads you to just stop respecting the law at all. I feel like there's a lot of things like that in life currently.
Yeah.
I think Canada is just culturally risk averse, and I think like Ottawa is like the most risk averse place in Canada.
My Jesus.
So, I mean, I grew up around a lot of very risk averse people who, even though you're making a middle class salary, they wouldn't like spend money on food or like eating out or whatever, even though they could totally afford it. Just like maximum risk aversion. It's like, what's that for?
It's life denying is what it is.
It is life denying. Spend all your money, break every law.
Yeah.
Love your friends.
Yeah.
Passionately.
Oh yeah, I just I took this picture when I was using the wash. I thought Greg would like it.
What? Let me see.
It's printing.
Printing.
Yeah, give it a sec. It takes a fucking while to print though. God.
He goes into the bathroom with a Polaroid and says, "I'm going to take a picture Greg's going to really love."
Yeah.
And then on our podcast, waits for it to print out of his Polaroid to show me the picture he took while he was in the bathroom.
Oh shit! It's gonna be another like 5 or 10 minutes then.
It's coming. There we go. Is there anything? Was there film in there?
Printer error.
Oh.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Rats.
Well, you checked out when you decided this conversation was over 15 minutes ago before we. I could feel it. I could feel you being like, okay, the podcast is done now.
Yeah, I feel like it's over.
Yeah, I feel like
Okay.
cooking a pound of ground beef in a toaster oven.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, well, you can show it to me later.
That's fine.
Get the gun.
Kill yourself.
I'm killing Henry.
What's the real horseshoe theory?
Private equity, Georgism,
Private equity and violence.
violence.
Doesn't matter what you do, the state's collapsing.
Can I just say this gun has been a nightmare for me because I'm.
What? What? It's fine. Little.
The thing is, people can smell my fear of the fake gun.
I just enjoy.
And then it makes it way more fun for them to shoot me. So I really like. I'm really like. I kind of like built my own coffin with this one, but I really don't like loud noises. When I was a kid, my mom would cover my ears during fireworks because I would like freak out like a dog.
Yeah.
And,
She kind of made you this way then.
and even though I know there's nothing in that gun, the loud noise plus the fact that it's a gun pointed at me, it's really the anticipation of the loud noise that gets me.
What? I haven't done anything. I'm just.
Choose PP.
I'm sorry. Like, sorry. It's just.
Stop.
I don't know what.
Enough.
the-
Don't point the gun at me. I don't like the gun.
What?
Doesn't matter what you do.
I really hate guns.
Capitalism regulation. The state's going to collapse in 4 years.
The state's going to collapse in 4 years. I'm going to get shot by Nick.
Kill yourself.
All I know is if there ever is a collapse of society, I'm robbing some old lady with this gun, taking her car, and driving back to my farm. And that's the real horseshoe theory.
Ah!